Today we have Akash and Gayatri, founders of Mind Matter Performance, who are helping athletes in India to train their minds and body. If you are passionate about sports and want to understand the mental side of peak performance in sports, this episode is for you.
My name's Gayatri Bhushan.
My name is Akash. Ball is obviously at the top for me.
Why Mind Matter Performance?
Mind over matter. So how the mind plays such a crucial role in shaping most of the athletes.
And unfortunately, about 15 years ago, we didn't find the right support or the right help.
Okay.
So I think my young mind then made the decision when I had to give up something that I loved so much. I think my young mind made a decision that I would never want any other athlete, a young girl or a young child to give up something that they loved so much because they didn't get the right support.
All right, guys. So let's start with your introduction. What is your background and maybe your introduction, a little bit about yourself?
Sure. My name is Akash. I was studying sport. I was an athlete all my life, and I always wanted to get into something related to sports. Didn't really know where I wanted to go, what I wanted to do if I didn't make it professionally. Once closer to the time when I realized that I could not make it professionally, that's when I realized that I want to get into the sports somehow. That's when I went to university, studied sport business, and I knew that I wanted to make a meaningful change in the society. So that's when we started our company, and that's
So,
when we're.
what is your early memory of playing a sport, or which is your favorite sport?
Okay. Nice. So my favorite sport's football. I've been a track and field athlete as well, but football is obviously at the top for me. And growing up watching Manchester United, like probably a lot of us,
Yeah.
our favorite clubs over here, and a lot of stars, Ronaldo, Rooney, seeing all of these guys growing up, that passion, that hunger,
Right.
that's what really drove me to do this.
Nice. What about you? What's your background? What's your sort of introduction?
Yeah, so similar to Akash, I think I come from a very sporty family. My dad was a national champion. He used to run 800 meters. He
Oh,
was
wow.
once upon a time he was the best in the country. So I think both my brother and myself, we were both always into sport. My brother used to play football, and I used to play various sports. But I think by the time I was 8 and 9, I think I realized that I wanted to run. And I started training. In fact, I used to train at the stadium here only at Tyagaraja Stadium
Right.
about 15 years ago.
Right.
So I used to run 400 meters at the national level. And I think my background is such that when I was around 14, 15 years old, I realized that I was talented. I possessed the talent. I had a good coach, but I couldn't handle the mental aspect of the sport, the stresses that came along with it, the anxieties, the performance pressure, the fear of failure, not wanting to disappoint myself or the people around me. So I think all of those aspects led me to the fact that I had to eventually give up the sport.
Okay.
I went all around the country. I had very supportive parents. I had a very, very supportive, privileged background growing up. So they took me all over, tried to find a sports psychologist for myself. And unfortunately, about 15 years ago, we didn't find the right support or the right help.
Okay.
So I think my young mind then made the decision when I had to give up something that I loved so much. I think my young mind made a decision that I would never want any other athlete, a young girl or a young child to give up something that they loved so much because they didn't get the right support. So yeah, so my background was such that I shifted my focus into sports psychology. I studied psychology during my bachelor's. I did my master's in sport and exercise psychology from Loughborough University in the UK. And then I did my licensing for the next 4 years, and now I'm an accredited sport and exercise psychologist and a registered sport and exercise psychologist by the Chartered Association of Sport and Exercise Sciences in the UK. So that's been a little bit about my journey.
So I have quite a few follow-up questions for
Yeah,
you, but
sure.
I think we should stick to the basics right now. So
Sure.
I would first of all try to understand. No, that's fine. I think that's fine. So the next question is, why Mind Matter Performance? Like, what does it mean? What is it sounding like?
Okay. So a lot of us must have heard of the phrase mind over matter, right? So it's the classic interplay between mind and matter, mind over matter. So how the mind plays such a crucial role in shaping most of the athletes, most of leave athletes as well, leave sport out of it. How the mind shapes everything that you do. So it's the classic interplay between the two words. and we've used it in the sports setting and performance after that, because performance is what we want to work on with the athletes, because that's one of our key metrics that we want to really help them with. Consistency and peak performance.
Okay. And now my question will be to both of you. You went to the Europe, right? You went to Loughborough University, which is like, I mean, not a lot of Indians know about this university, but this university has produced so many Olympians, also known for its infrastructure, great infrastructure and curriculum. So I want to understand from your perspective, your experience, how was your experience there, studying and learning from the best elite athletes and the minds there?
I would say it was very different from what we had imagined before going there. We definitely knew that it would be something really cool and a very exciting opportunity. But when we reached there, and through the months and years that we were there, we really understood what it actually, the level that it actually was at, because we'd often see the English cricket team just walking by on campus, the volleyball team,
Wow.
netball team, badminton team. People are just walking by. Sometimes you just see Olympians on the
Yeah.
gym when you're working out.
That must be a different experience, right?
Yeah,
even Neeraj Chopra
definitely.
was training over
Yeah,
there
Neeraj
once
Chopra was training there. We had some women World Cup qualifiers in our university, inside the university. So it was amazing, and
Right.
the level of facilities as well, just truly amazing to be within that setup.
What about you?
Yeah, I think just adding on to that, I think when I was studying and during my master's degree, I remember I had a certain female who came third in the Olympics, and she was
Oh, wow.
studying alongside us
Oh, wow.
in my class and in my course. So that was pretty cool. So I think for me, it was more about the networking part, being around the best, surrounded by the best, and I think learning from the best. I think education is something. Yeah, Loughborough University is the best university in the world for sport. So yeah, education-wise, I didn't expect any lesser. But just being in that environment, surrounded by the best, I think it just pushes you and just drives you to do better, be better. I think when you go into that setting, you realize you've
Yeah.
actually not done much in life.
Right.
And I think that's a great motivator to go out there and just learn from the best, see the best,
Yeah.
and try and be the best version of yourself.
So I think I have a follow-up question here, because a lot of athletes here in India or sports person, if you see, they are not putting a lot of effort in studies. So what do you think? I mean, now you said that you are studying alongside Olympians and such elite professional sports professional. So what do you think? Like, should Indian players and athletes should also focus on the study part? Because I think for them that's the challenge. After
Yeah.
a certain period, their performance is down. They're not performing well in sports, and then they don't have any career path, and they are like lacking the education, the basic education. So what do you think of that?
I have a very different approach to that. I feel for athletes, I think more than the education part right now, there's a lot more that they need in support of the support factor, in terms of the whole support system that surrounds an athlete. I don't think we're giving them enough. They might possess the talent, but we're not giving them enough to perform and compete at a world stage level. There's so much more than just training and the physical aspect and the training aspect and the technical aspect of sport. And I think that's hugely lacking for the athletes. But if you talk about individuals who want to make a career in sport other than just training and being an athlete, and career surrounding sport, I would say that I think we're privileged enough. I wouldn't doubt the fact that Akash and myself both had the privilege. We come from privileged backgrounds. Our parents supported us, and we could go and study in the best university in the world. We don't doubt the fact that it's very expensive to go out there and do such things.
Right.
So I think in terms of gaining that knowledge, I feel there are a lot of individuals who want to gain that knowledge but do not possess
Right.
the right. They don't have the right
Platform or
platform
maybe,
to go out there and do such a thing. So I feel, I think India needs to grow in that aspect, give our individuals the platform to actually go out there and gain that knowledge. I think the drive is there, the hunger is there. I think just the systems need to improve and the frameworks need to improve for our individuals to actually go out there and get the best of knowledge.
So talking about systems, what do you think? What are the key problems or challenges that you see in the sporting system in India?
Okay, I have a few answers for this, and I'll give you my top two. So for my top two, I feel that the rigid systems.
Yeah.
So just building a little bit more on what Gayatri was saying, we have a lot of people in power, not necessarily politically, but just in terms of, say, suppose you have a football club that's just operating out of Delhi in a B division category.
Right.
Now, suppose the people in the leadership positions over there, whether it's the head coach, whether it's the manager, they have been coaching that team for very many years. Even if they're new into that setup, they want to bring only their team on board. They're not open to bringing new people in who'd help them, who'd integrate with their system and who'd help them tip the needle a little in their favor. अगर आप चाहते हो कि कोई आपकी टीम में आए, वो बाहर से भी आ सकता है.
Right.
ज़रूरी नहीं है कि वो आपकी टीम के अंदर से ही आए.
Yeah. I
क्योंकि
think there can
improvement
be
कहीं से भी आ
partners.
I
सकता
think there
है.
has to be
बिल्कुल.
a growth mindset over there. I
Right.
think that's lacking hugely.
Yeah.
Interesting. So, okay, that's quite interesting. What about the sports performance part? When you talk about sports performance, how do you define it? And maybe you can also put some light on the Indian sports person as well. Like if you have some experiences, if you want to share your experiences with the athletes here on the sport.
So you're talking about sports performance in
Yes.
general, like how do we?
Yes.
I think
Okay.
you can talk about the psychology aspect. of
Yes.
it
Yeah,
also.
I would say that I think you'd be better equipped
Yeah.
to answer that.
Yeah.
And then after that, I can do the extension part of it.
Sure. Yeah. So if I talk about sports psychology, I think जो सबसे बड़ा चीज़ जो हमारी कंट्री में अभी लैकिंग है कि हमारे पास एक फ्रेमवर्क नहीं है
Right.
और हमारे पास कोई गवर्निंग बॉडी नहीं है जो एक स्पोर्ट साइकोलॉजिस्ट का टाइटल जो प्रोटेक्ट करे. तो आज आकाश जिसको कोई बैकग्राउंड नहीं है स्पोर्ट्स साइकोलॉजी में, वो भी अपने आप को एक स्पोर्ट्स साइकोलॉजिस्ट बुला सकते हैं और आप भी
Yeah.
अपने आप को एक स्पोर्ट्स साइकोलॉजिस्ट बुला सकते हैं और हमें कोई लीगली सू नहीं कर सकता फॉर यूजिंग दैट टाइटल. तो इंडिया में क्या हो रहा है कि बहुत लोग स्पोर्ट्स साइकोलॉजी का टाइटल यूज़ कर रहे हैं, वो स्पोर्ट में एक एस लगा रहे हैं.
Oh.
तो वो
interesting.
टाइटल कहीं पे भी दुनिया में प्रोटेक्टेड नहीं है.
Okay.
तो ये नॉट ओनली हमारे एथलीट्स को बहुत ज़्यादा हार्म कर रहा है, बट ये हमारे प्रोफेशन को भी बहुत हार्म कर रहा है.
Okay.
कि nobody wants to take our profession seriously क्योंकि उनको लगता है कि कोई डिफरेंस ही नहीं होता है कि हम एक स्पोर्ट्स साइकोलॉजिस्ट या हम एक मेंटल स्किल्स काउंसलर को अगर हायर कर लें तो कोई हमें एथलीट्स को कोई फ़र्क नहीं पड़ रहा है उससे,
Right.
क्योंकि हम राइट लोगों को नहीं ला रहे हैं जिनके पास राइट नॉलेज हो, राइट एक्सपीरियंस हो और जिन्हें अपनी एजुकेशन करा हुआ है. तो अगर आप एक डॉक्टर को ले आओ जिनने वो उनका अपना पाथवे नहीं फॉलो किया, सो इमेजिन हाउ मच हार्म वुड बी कॉज टू द पेशेंट्स. सो लाइकवाइज क्योंकि ये टाइटल प्रोटेक्टेड नहीं है हमारी कंट्री में और कोई
Right.
फ्रेमवर्क नहीं है और कोई गवर्निंग बॉडी नहीं है, इसलिए बहुत मिसयूज़ हो रहा है. तो आई थिंक दैट इज़ वन ह्यूज एरिया दैट वी सी जिसमें हम ग्रो कर सकते हैं और जिसमें हम बहुत ज़्यादा लैकिंग है, जो आकाश और मैं बहुत एफर्ट डाल रहे हैं अभी टू ट्राई एंड गेट अ फ्रेमवर्क एंड ट्राई एंड गेट अ बॉडी टू द कंट्री. सो आई थिंक दिस इज समथिंग दैट वी नोटिस विद आवर एथलीट्स ओवर हियर. You want to continue or should I add to that?
No, I think you've covered most of it. What I'd like to add to it is that it's not a matter of कि ये कभी होगा कि नहीं होगा, ये है कि कब होगा. और वही हम ट्राई कर रहे हैं कि जल्दी से जल्दी ये चीज़ हो जाए. जो लोग पावर पे उनको पता चले कि इस चीज़ की ज़रूरत है.
Right.
ये सेम चीज़ स्ट्रेंथ एंड कंडीशनिंग के साथ भी हुई थी जब भी हमारी कंट्री में आया था. जब तक विराट कोहली ने शुरू नहीं किया ढंग से, तब तक किसी को इसकी इम्पोर्टेंस नहीं समझ में आ रही थी. जब उसने समझाया, जब उसने दिखाया कि ये सब ज़रूरी है क्योंकि बाहर वाले देशों
Right.
में ऑलरेडी लोग कर रहे थे ये.
Right.
सेम चीज़ स्पोर्ट्स साइकोलॉजी में भी हो रही है. लोग बाहर कर रहे हैं ये चीज़. लोगों को एक्चुअली परफॉर्मेंस का उनको हेल्प हो रहा है ये. कंसिस्टेंटली वो जा पा रहे हैं, परफॉर्म कर पा रहे हैं, अपने अच्छे लेवल पे, पीक लेवल पे परफॉर्म कर पा रहे हैं. तो ये चेंज होना तो कभी ना कभी तो होना ही पड़ेगा. हम बस कोशिश कर रहे हैं कि जल्द से जल्द हो
It's
जाए.
need of the hour, right?
एब्सोल्युटली.
All right. So I have, I think, one more question here. Sports psychology की आपने बात की. You were telling about your story as well. Like you didn't able to find anyone who can support you, right, at the right time. How do you think you guys are coming in that particular area? Like if let's say there are so many athletes here, if someone is struggling, first of all, how does that athlete know कि उसको कुछ problem है? Like he is not able to, find the solution for that problem. And how do you guys reach out to them or connect to them? Like what is the process?
Okay. So, like how Gayatri usually says this, she's like, sports, when these athletes usually come to you, it's not necessary that they always come when they have a problem. of course we do help them with all the problems that they
Right.
have as well. You know, definitely that's right up the alley of what we do.
Right.
But we're happy to have them when they have no problems as well, and we're able to make them ice cold athletes.
Right.
कि आप अंदर जाओ, चाहे आप इंडिया नंबर 1 के साथ खेल रहे हो या वर्ल्ड नंबर 1 के साथ खेल रहे हो, आपको अपने एबिलिटी पे ट्रस्ट है. आप जानते हो कि आप जाके वहाँ पे अपना 100% गेम दे सकते हो.
Right.
So that's our goal,
Right.
to make sure that these athletes are able to consistently perform at their peak. And how they can, even if they're performing at their probably 99% right now, how can you turn that 99% into every day turning up to be that 99%, right? And the first part of your question is, how do we approach them? We approach them, so our services are multifold. We work with individual athletes, we work with teams, we work with federations, governing bodies, like suppose funded, public funded or private funded governing bodies.
Right.
So we work with a lot of different organizations, clubs, individuals. So our approach is a bit different. For individuals, we approach them through athlete managers, coaches, right? For clubs, we speak to the coaches as well. For for federations, we speak to upper management, because they're able to give their entire athlete roster to us, saying कि ये sport है जिसमें हम हैं, and this is what we do, and they'll tell us that who needs it more.
Right.
Because we have like sports in different hierarchies,
Yeah.
depending on how much the mental game actually helps in those particular sports.
Right.
Something that would help in shooting would be very different from something that would help in MMA or wrestling or maybe motorsport.
Can you elaborate that? Like you were talking about, we have different steps or process in different sports. For shooting, it's different. For maybe athletes and the football, it's different. So what are the key differences? Maybe can you talk about it?
Yeah, I would say I can very briefly explain it before Gayatri takes on
Yeah.
the psychological part.
Yeah.
So the very key small differences would be the amount of mental strength required at any given point for the sport that you're playing,
Okay.
right? So I'm not saying that one is more than the other in a very obvious capacity,
Right.
but I'm trying to say the utilization of it, like the techniques that we use, and even for the athletes in general, you know how much in shooting, like the mind is very, very, very important.
You have to be focused
You
all
have
the
to be
time.
extremely focused,
Calm,
concentrated.
focus.
You can't, there's no movement at all, right? You need to just be as stationary as you can. Your mind has to be blocked out to zero. Similarly, if you're playing another sport like cricket or football, again requires a lot of mental strength, but then it's not the same kind of mental strength that you require, right? Our outlook, our plan will be very different for a shooter, for a cricketer, for a footballer. So that's what I meant. Gayatri can take on the psychological parts of it.
या आई थिंक जस्ट एडिंग टू कि जो आकाश ने बोला था कि बहुत लोगों को मिसकंसेप्शन है कि एक तो साइकोलॉजी का अभी भी टर्म हमारी कंट्री में
Right.
लोगों को लगता है
very
कि कोई
basic.
हाँ बहुत लोगों को लगता है कोई प्रॉब्लम है, कोई मेंटल इलनेस है, कोई
Yeah.
किसी को दिमाग में कोई प्रॉब्लम है. दैट्स नॉट व्हाट साइकोलॉजी इज़ अबाउट. स्पोर्ट्स साइकोलॉजी इज़ अबाउट द फैक्ट कि हाँ एक जगह होता है कि हम प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व करते हैं, हम सोल्यूशंस ढूंढते हैं प्रॉब्लम्स की,
Right.
बट अ बिग पार्ट ऑफ स्पोर्ट्स साइकोलॉजी इज़ मेंटल स्किल्स ट्रेनिंग and empowering an athlete to go out there, like Akash said, to go out there and perform at their peak. It's very hard, like for say someone who's been training for the last 15 years to go run that 100-meter race in the Olympics. The world is watching you, the pressures that come
Right.
along with it, your whole identity is attached to that 100-meter race that you're going and going to be running over there. And there's so many expectations, there's so much pressure, there's so many individuals who work towards helping you reach there. So कितना प्रेशर होता है, and to just help you go out there and perform at your peak is something consistently is something that sports psychology is about, and empowering you and making you into that individual is something that sports psychology is about. And I think performance हर level पे होता है, चाहे आपका रोल हो जो आप करते हैं, जो हम करते हैं. I think performance is part of everyone's job today, everyone's life today, whether it's a student who has to perform in competitive exams, whether it's a dancer who has to go perform at the stage, it's an actor, there's performance in every level, and the mind plays a huge role in performance. So we only don't work with athletes, we work with individuals across the board, whether there's an executive, whether there's a CEO and he has to perform and he has to run a company. So I think what I'm trying to say is that performance and sports psychology is across the board. Performance psychology is across the board, and it's the need of the hour. And if you ask about how athletes approach us and how we approach athletes, I think वो term sports psychology काफ़ी लोगों को समझ नहीं आता, but इसका need सबको समझ आता है आज की date
So
में.
maybe we switch to mental health, right?
No, not even mental health. Just trying to make them understand who they can approach. Now, if we speak to any athlete here, yeah, there's a positive, there's a very positive connotation. Sports psychology is very positive. There's a lot of positive psychology attached to it. कोई problem होना ज़रूरी नहीं होता है to come and meet a sports psychologist. So I think athletes understand that. Athletes understand कि उनको ज़रूरत है. Companies understand that. Clubs understand that. Organizations understand that. But they don't know who to approach and who the right people are to approach,
Right.
because it's still something that's growing. Like I said, 15 years ago, when I needed a sports psychologist, I didn't find the right individuals. I did visit a few, but none of them, now I understand, none of them had the right qualifications.
Right.
And unfortunately, 15 years later, after I've come back to the country, not much has changed.
Okay. So you say there is, but there are some people like you who are changing the scene right now. And maybe on that question that you say that there's a difference, there are not enough qualified people. So what do you think? What are the qualifications, or what are those differences that an athlete can check? Okay, this is the right person. This is the right
Sure.
person.
Sure. So yeah, like I said, 15 years later also, not much has changed in the country with regards to any kind of frameworks or any kind of governing bodies that are protecting the title of a sports psychologist. Unfortunately, we do not have any licensing procedure in the country. So what individuals need to understand is that doing a bachelor's degree or doing a master's degree is not enough to become a sports psychologist. You do not, nowhere in the world will that be recognized as a sports psychologist. So beyond your master's degree, there has to be an accredited course, whether from the UK, whether from Australia, whether from the US, whether from a European body. There are a lot of different bodies where you can go and get accredited. So that's what we're trying to bring to India at this point. A lot of people don't have that knowledge, but in our
There's
country,
no governing body in India.
no, in our country, there's no governing body that protects the title of a sports psychologist, and there is no body that gives you the license.
Understood.
So a lot of people are not getting the education and still calling themselves sports psychologists. So to these individuals, I would just say use the right titles. If you're a counselor, use a title of a counselor. If you're a mental skills coach, use a title of a mental skills coach, or a life coach, then use the title of a life coach.
Right.
A lot of individuals are using the title of a sports psychologist without having the right experience and the right knowledge and the right licensure.
Right. So now let's switch to your professional life, like your professional career. So you were at the Chelsea, right, at Brentford. How was your experience there? And maybe you can also share your experience in the UK. Like, what exactly is that system, right? And how is our system maybe different? Maybe we can talk about that.
Sure. So yeah, after my education, I did work at Chelsea Football Club, and then I worked at Brentford Football Club. I think the difference I'd see, I wouldn't say those systems are perfect either.
Okay.
There's a lot of growth that is needed even in those systems, and no system today in the world is perfect.
perfect, yeah.
So that is something that I'd want to put out there. But I think if I talk about sports psychology, I think the difference between India and the UK would be that we don't have to go and explain to people why they need this, or we don't have to explain to people what sports psychology is. It's already embedded. My youngest client from the UK is 6 years old.
Wow.
Yeah, so that is something that we need to understand, that it's already embedded, that is why today we're having difficulty competing at a world stage level or a world class level and competing with the best in the world. We have the talent, we have immense talent. Our Indian sporting ecosystem, we have immense talent. But the support to hone this talent and the support to actually help this talent reach the best and reach the best stages in the world is missing. And I think that's what's lacking in our country in comparison to the UK. They have the support systems. They have the right people to help them reach there. And I think that's what's missing. I think the holistic system that's needed to help an athlete reach that level. So that's the difference that I would like to point out.
Maybe you can share your experience as well.
Quite interesting. So, for me, I would say a couple of things again. Um, I really enjoyed my time in the UK. I worked in the US also for some time.
Okay.
Again, really enjoyed it. Even the difference between US and UK was also so much, right?
Like how so?
So I was working in the US also in a football capacity. Like I was working with grassroots organizations
Where
in the
in
US.
US?
In California, New
Okay.
Mexico,
Okay.
and Seattle.
Okay.
So, in these places I was working, and what we were trying to do was we were trying to upskill the level that's already present over there. Because for them in the US, they have 3 4 prevalent sports,
Yeah.
and football is, although it's big as well, but it's still growing.
I mean, it's still at primitive stage. let's say.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So it's still growing. So we were trying to help develop the grassroots,
Yeah.
so that the people growing up only are able to learn the right way and
Yeah.
are able to do things the right way.
Yeah, yeah.
Similarly, in the UK, probably one of the best footballing nations in the world.
Of course it is.
Right? Home to the Premier League,
Yeah.
the best league in the world, most watched football, right? Big game over there. So comparatively very different, already established systems, very developed. And in the UK, it's about what can you do new over there, more than more than what are we significantly improving.
They're looking for more sports innovation, probably, right?
Absolutely,
We are
absolutely.
still.
They're seeing
Yeah.
how they can get better. And one of the main things that I would say is what I started with initially when I talked about the challenges in our system. And I would say in UK that it's exactly the opposite. They're always ready to onboard someone who can make meaningful change and bring value to their company or organization or club.
Interesting.
So that's a great thing which I learnt over there, is that nobody cares about their hold over an organization
Right.
or a club.
Right.
They're very
They're
happy
quite
to
open.
bring. Yeah, they're very happy to bring on
Yeah.
you, Siddharth, me, or Gayatri. If 3 of us are the best at what we do, they'll keep their eyes closed and they'll onboard us.
Interesting.
And I think everyone understands the boundaries of their profession. A coach knows what their role is,
Yeah.
a psychologist knows what their role is, a physiotherapist knows what their role is. Here we're trying to do everything, we're trying to
Yeah.
make one person do everything. And I think that's not something that can work.
Yeah,
Everyone has their own talent and everyone has something that they're good at. And I think if we bring all those good energies
Yeah.
and all those positive energies and skills, I think we can create great athletes in this country. We just all need to come together and bring what we're good at. I
Right.
think that would really make a huge difference.
I think that's quite brilliant thing that you said, that they know the boundaries. A coach is a coach, a scout is a scout, a therapist is a
Exactly.
therapist. Here, a coach is doing everything by himself, and that's why we are not seeing best probably athletes, or I mean performing at the best level. So I think that's so right, and probably we hope that maybe things
Yeah.
change. People like you bring the change, and
Yeah,
it's quite.
and I just want to add also the fact, I think Akash mentioned grassroots. I think that's something that's also lacking in our
Yeah.
country. We only want to give a Neeraj Chopra the best of the best when a Neeraj Chopra becomes a Neeraj Chopra.
Right.
What about before that? What about the
Exactly.
6-year-old or the 7-year-old Neeraj
Exactly.
Chopra who's going out there and practicing and training every single day? If we'd given him the best of the best at the age of say 10 and 11,
Yeah.
we would have multiple, in abundance, we would have
Right.
Neeraj Chopras in this country.
I think
so
for
I
that
think,
scouting is important.
yeah,
right?
I think giving individuals and giving athletes the facilities, the infrastructure, the support systems, when they're actually growing, is what's going to make the difference. Not when they've reached a certain level. That's
Got it.
not when you give them the best of the best.
Right. So you are also open to work with such organizations who are scouting sports person and
Yeah, that's
athletes.
that's what our goal is. Like I said, my youngest athlete in the UK in London is 6 years old.
Right.
And
No,
that's
I'm
where
talking about in India.
Yeah, that's what comparisons I'm making. That's where we'll see maximum growth.
Right.
A lot of the athletes who've
Picking
reached a
them at
certain
right,
age
yeah.
might have saturated in a way where they've reached the best
Right.
and reached their peak at this point. Yeah,
Right.
of course we can help them with the mental aspect of the sport and the mental aspect of just life in general.
Right.
But where we'll actually, if you see the India part of it, and where we'll actually produce athletes at a world-class level would be if we catch them young.
Yes.
And that's what we aim to do.
Right. So maybe coming to the success stories, or maybe some of the stories that you want to share working here in India, specifically like with some athletes or the clubs, probably, if you want to share something?
Um, I would say I wouldn't name the clubs or the
Yeah,
athletes
that's
due to
fine.
confidentiality purposes, but the basic idea I'll give you of what we see is that how people are intrigued before they start, or they question themselves before they start working with us to see whether they actually require these services or not. One is because they're probably uninformed. Second is because they think whether it'll actually provide a meaningful change or bring any value to them, because it's not that it's a very cheap service either, and people are already investing in coaching, strength and conditioning, diet, lot of things. So they're thinking whether this is an extra addition they really need and how much of a difference it's making to their game.
Right.
So the positive stuff that we've heard from our athletes and clubs that we work with is the impact that it actually gives them in their daily life. How when they go into training, before going to sleep, or even waking up on a match day.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So, any final thoughts on your company, Mind Matter Performance? Like, what do you vision? I mean, I understand like what your goal is, but probably 5 years down the line, where do you see yourself, your company growing, and maybe how do you want to add in this sporting ecosystem?
I would say our vision is to be the gold standard for sports psychology in India. And we'd be very happy if it's not just us, and there are 100 other companies like us who are doing the same thing. And making sure that proper ethical licensed services are being provided to the athletes and teams. And it's not just because we think that we have other people in the industry who are doing something similar without the licensing and all. It's all about pure output that the athlete gets. We want the athlete to get the best output possible
Right.
and have these systems integrated within every athlete and ecosystem, sport ecosystem within our country.
Nice. Any final thoughts from you?
Yeah, for sure. Just adding on to what Akash said, today, unfortunately, there are 3 to 4 sports psychologists in the country who are actually licensed to be sports psychologists. So that is something that we want to see change. We want to bring that change about maybe 5 years down the line, or maybe even in the coming years. We want to get a framework, we want to get a governing body where individuals don't have to travel to different countries to try and get this
Yeah.
license. Not everyone has that backing, the privilege, the funding, and no one should have to lose out on a profession because we do not have a governing body or a framework. So that is something we want to change. Like Akash said, we would want multiple in abundance. We would want sports psychologists because numbers-wise, I think athletes and the ratio sports psychologists, it's very sad to see. And I think there are more than 6 lakh athletes today who could do with the services, and sports psychologists, there are 3 to 4 who are actually licensed.
Wow.
So that is something that we want to surely see a change. We would encourage individuals to come have a chat with us, reach out to us, and we would be more than happy to guide them to do things right, like Akash said, in the right ethical and moral way, use the right titles, and just serve our athletes in the best way possible.
And how do these guys reach out to you? Like, do you have any website or the contact number or the
Sure.
messages?
Sure, we can put it down in the box below. We can put down the contact details. But our organization is called Mind Matter Performance. Our website is mindmatterperformance.com. We also have our Instagram and our LinkedIn with the same names, where you'll find our email address, our contact details. And yeah, my name's Gayatri Bhushan. You would find me on LinkedIn too. And Akash Prasad, you would find him there. So yeah, more than happy to have chats, more than happy for athletes to reach out, for clubs to reach out, for individuals who want to get into this profession to reach out. Yeah, that's what our goal is, and that's why we came back to the country, to try and bring about a change in the sporting ecosystem.
Well, thank you very much, guys, for your time. It was quite interesting to listen to your story and your insights and how you guys bringing this important change. We wish you the best, and we'll try to support you as much as possible, and wish you all the best.
Thank
so
you,
much for
thank
that.
you, thank you for helping us bring our message out there. Thanks.
No problem.